Continuing to track what could be one of the longest stretches of heat in September and some record territory as well. Excessive heat warning now continues until Thursday with peak highs up to 115 and very little overnight relief as well. Now, this is going to extend throughout the entire state. We're talking a heat wave all the way from Redding stretching south into Los Angeles and San Diego towards the coast. Also very warm with impacts being dangerous heat, mostly for the interior coastal communities where peak highs will be in the 90s and some a little bit farther to the east will be into the 100s. It's a classic setup. High pressure ridge over the Four Corners, sinking warming air across the entire west. So you can see this is going to stretch not only through California, but even starting to move its way northward as well. Our Labor Day forecast for the valley, 112 degrees. Again, dangerous heat as well as near record territory. We're going to be moving into even hotter days ahead. Believe it or not, peak heat hits on Tuesday. So our stretch of 100s, the record in jeopardy for downtown Sacramento. So far, we've had 8 this year. That fell in June. The record all time in July of 2006, where we had 11 days straight of 100+ degree heat. And we're already on track to either break it or tie it. All-time record highs running down those numbers. 114 degrees for downtown Sacramento. That was all the way back in 1925. Sacramento executive 115 degrees back in 1961. Stockton 115 in 2006. Also in 2006, Modesto at 113 degrees, and even Auburn coming in there 50 years ago at 113 degrees. So given the heat that we're seeing right now, we've never seen this type of heat in September. We've never hit at or above 110 degrees for downtown Sacramento. In fact, the hottest record that we have for the month, 109 degrees. So if we hit that 110 mark, it will be the hottest September record for us in record territory, at least. Our heat impact timeline for Labor Day, extremely hot, 106 to 112. We're going to nearly repeat that. In fact, get a little hotter on Tuesday. And we're going to take that all the way through Thursday now with peak heat between 106 and 115. Friday, we're going to start a bit of that cooling trend. Highs will be a little bit lower, still in the 100s, and we're going to be in the 90s to near 100 still on Saturday. So we're going to be tracking that intense heat all the way through the week. And some of the key factors to keep in mind is the potential for heat illnesses. There's 2 very distinct ones, one being heat exhaustion, thirsty, dizzy, nausea, cool, clammy skin, and also sweating a lot. When it turns into the more serious one, heat stroke, headache, red, hot, dry skin, no sweating, and it's cause for immediate action, and that means calling 911. In terms of those overnight lows, this is part of the reason heat illness is such a potential here, with valley lows only falling into the 70s for most of the week, barely falling below 80 degrees on Monday when we're starting to stretch into some of that peak heat. Average low 60 degrees. That's basically just not giving our body a whole lot of time to recover. When we have overnight lows in the 60s, at least we have some relief. Our body can then gear up for another day of heat, but we're just not going to see that this week. And so we're dealing with multiple impacts from that. Flex alerts continue. 5th day now that we're heading into flex alerts. Air quality issues. Fire danger will be increasing. Wait till you see some of the impacts that we're looking at with lightning returning to the forecast. Plus, we're following all the sporting events that are either postponed, delayed, or even flat out canceled. In terms of our flex alert, once again called for our Monday from 4 p.m. to 9 p.m. voluntary power conservation. Turning the air conditioner up to 78 degrees or higher just takes some stress off the entire power grid throughout the state. Also, postponing using larger appliances, and that means either your washing machine, even your dishwasher. If you can do all of that stuff earlier in the day, it just not only helps the power grid, but also takes a few bucks off the power bill at the end of the month. In terms of our air quality, another spare the air day called for our Monday for the Sacramento region with unhealthy for sensitive groups in Sacramento, Placer, and El Dorado counties. Looking at that spare the air alert, reducing driving and equipment use, anything that's basically using gas will help our air quality issues, and using active transit, either a bicycle, scooter, or walking. It's tough to do late in the day, but if if you can do so, it certainly helps with the air quality issues. One of the other things that we're going to be tracking is multiple fires to the north of us starting to pull in that smoke from the north down into the valley. It's not going to be a ton, but we are going to be seeing some of that smoke start to filter its way right through the Central Valley here into our Labor Day forecast. I want to take a look at a couple of different factors that are going to be elevating our fire danger. First of all, we're looking at heat. That's going to be the high risk trigger on Wednesday. Once we get into our Saturday forecast, again, moving ahead into this Saturday, our high risk trigger, lightning. That's going to be coming in through the northern part of the state, right along the northeast corner of the state here because of a developing tropical system. So now we're going to be adding heat and lightning to the mix. The heat really drying out all this vegetation. You can see all the areas that are shaded in red and even some of that maroon color, the valley and parts of the mountains with that very high dryness level. And then towards the north or southeast corner of the state, a little bit more on the wetter side of things, as well as right along the northwest coast. We had those late season rains come in, and of course the monsoonal flow helping in the southeast corner of the state. It's unfortunately going to be drawing out, though, under this big ridge of high pressure, sinking, warming air. Nothing coming in terms of showers until we get to the end of the week into the upcoming weekend. Fire danger is going to increase. Here's the reason why. We're tracking a chance of thunderstorms because of a developing tropical system. It's named K right now just off the coast of Mexico. You can see all of the moisture that's continuing to feed into this system. Lots of warm water. So some of the impacts that we're going to be following in the next 72 hours, heavy rain, possible flooding in Mexico. And then next 5 days, and we're talking Friday into Saturday, you saw the risk of lightning increasing because possible showers and thunderstorms returning to the forecast as this starts to pull its way north. These are the spaghetti plots just showing multiple weather models and where the path is taking it. Most of them right along Baja California, then up towards Southern California, not making landfall as a tropical system, but what it has the potential to do is feed us with the chance of those showers and thunderstorms. We're really behind where we were last year at this time in terms of fire. This could be the trigger that puts us into a very dangerous category. Now, the last update for this was on August 29th, so these numbers are going to go up slightly for this year just based on the multiple fires that we've been tracking over the course of the weekend. A couple of things to keep in mind moving into some of this higher fire danger and some of the to-go things that we need. Survival needs, first aid kit, medicine, food, and water for at least 3 days. Next, important documents. Do you have these handy? Proof of ownership, insurance, medical, and personal ID in a fire-resistant safe, or just put it in a Ziploc bag to have it to come with you. Third, a to-go bag, emergency preparedness kit in your car in case of evacuation. You want to throw a charger in there and anything you think you might need, again, for that survival to-go bag. Finally, remember our pets, first aid kit, carrier, ID tag, food, leash, medicine, as well as medical records and some toys as well. And are we fire ready? Well, is our home going to provide a good shelter? If not, is there a neighbor or friend that I can go to that might be able to house myself, my family, or even my pets in need of evacuation? And finally, if that isn't possible, finding a nearby storm shelter that is open. I always want to download your emergency alert on your phone. Make sure that is handy in case evacuation is necessary. I was talking to CAL FIRE just last week about what has been so far a rather slow start to the peak fire season, but what they are saying now is what is setting up with this heat wave is going to add to the additional risk factors heading into the peak time of year, and any north wind event could explode into mega fires.
There's different factors that come into wildland fires. There's fuel, there's topography, and there's weather. And weather is the deciding factor.
This heat wave setting the stage for explosive fire growth moving into the fall months when strong, dry winds could make a small fire a mega fire.
Now that we're going to see an extended heat wave with extended low humidities, really what that does is it creates an environment where all the fuel, all the brush, all the grass in California is ready to burn.
And CAL FIRE is ready to attack fires with a new understanding of our changing environment by adopting new strategies and technologies.
We are making headway in a new era of firefighting. And where we're making headway is with aggressive fuel management, innovations in technology, increase in staffing, improve air resources.